Hello, everyone at Peace Through Trade. Welcome, Peacemakers. My name is Ryan Beckman, founding partner of Peace Through Trade. The title of this live stream is A Billionaire Told Me That in About 2 years, less than 2 years, AI job losses could change society forever. I hope I got your attention. That's actually true. I received a message from someone that during COVID did billions of dollars in revenue with their business. I think it was closer to $4 billion. I've known this individual for a few years, an incredible individual, a very happy and positive person. And at that level of finance, there's more information, there's more data, there's more relationships that people have. And effectively, what this person told me in April was that we actually have possibly less than 2 years before effectively things get shaken up quite a bit in society. He even told me that the job losses and the layoffs are way bigger than what we've already begun to see happening. Now, I don't have that much time for today's live stream. This is going to be 20 minutes or less. Next time, we can get into showing you the proof and the data of the current layoffs that are already taking place. Now, we're not a doom and gloom community. We're actually focused on the positive solutions. So if you stay tuned, I'll share with you the top 3 things that I'm doing, that I'm banking on, that I'm working on, not financial advice, for myself, my wife, my family, and our companies and our team's future. Last year, in the fall of last year, you probably saw the headlines that Oracle laid off about 35,000 people via email. Why? AI. AI started to be able to outperform the work of 35,000 people. Shortly after that, Amazon laid off about 25,000 people. Since then, the actual project management software that's become very, very popular over the past number of years, ClickUp, announced that they would be laying off 4 out of 5 people. The remaining person would have to demonstrate that they can use AI for their job and get done 5 times more work than they currently can. Now, the interesting thing about ClickUp, which made the headlines, was that one remaining person would actually get paid upwards of $1 million salary per year, because effectively they'd be doing 5 times the work with AI and they'd be saving the company money on the remaining 4 or 5 people. Now, if we had more time for today's live stream, we could also cut and I could screen share and show you how Elon Musk said this actually 3 years ago now. He said, AI's coming, job losses are here. It's going to be so big that societies and governments will actually have to develop a universal basic income, UBI, where because most people won't be able to have jobs, they'll have to get paid a basic salary from the governments. I don't know about you, but my current level of comfort with governments and how they manage money is not so high as to believe that they've already got it all figured out. They've put aside enough money, and not a problem. In 2 years or less, they're going to be able to replace the income that so many of their citizens will need as a result of AI job loss. That's not even mentioning how destructively horrific the most recent data and scientific reports are on the environmental damage and freshwater loss that these AI data centers are creating in America and beyond. I am not a crazy climate activist, but I have raised my children, because I was raised myself, to care about the environment, to care about animals and nature and our fellow human family members. And the reality is that technology should reflect its values that it's been built to fix and provide solutions for. AI right now is not that thing. In fact, the most recent scientific data reports that have come out with the largest AI data center planned in history in Utah is that if they just tried to cool this data center, and this is potential and alleged, not trying to get into any dramatic situations with Kevin O'Leary, the predominant financier behind that, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with him. And I would hope to see, and I'm more than open to being convinced, that he has the data that this is not in fact the case. But I've been on 2 conversations with just the AI data centers there in Utah with some very prominent and significant individuals in Utah. And just the freshwater usage from that particular AI data center cannot be afforded from the Great Salt Lake in Utah. Not to mention that the past several years in a row, there's been little to no snow in those mountains above Utah. Without the AI data center, if there is no snow this upcoming fall and winter, it's very likely, more likely than not, that the city of Great Salt Lake in Utah runs out of fresh water and can no longer function as a city. Did you know that? So not only job loss, but environmental damage and impact is an enormous thing that we're dealing with now as a result of the innovation of AI. And I know if you're watching this live stream or this replay recording, you, just like me, are thinking, wait a minute, wasn't AI supposed to make our lives better and easier? Weren't we supposed to have robots doing the laundry, cleaning the house, and helping society move more efficiently, more effectively, with more trust and more prosperity and abundance for everyone? Now, I know a lot of the comments on the internet point out the inefficiency and perhaps corruption that takes place in governments all over the world. It's not isolated to one country. I, however, for the last year and a half with Peace Through Trade, have been very fortunate to be in very high-level conversations with representatives of central banks, of various governments throughout the world. And I can assure you that the people, at least that we're meeting, that we're working with, genuinely are good people. They really do have your best interests at heart. The problem with any not-for-profit organization, governments in this case, is that it's not for profit. So they don't have to work on things with the same urgency, with the same timeline, and the same budgets that an entrepreneur or a business owner that has to pay the bills every month operates. They don't run like that with governments. In fact, they generally end up spending more and more and more money year over year. Governments have to print more monies, central banks have to issue more monies, the governments go further and further into debt, inflation increases, and you and I are stuck footing the bill. So if job loss is going to be so dramatic in 2 years, in fact, this billionaire that told me this pointed out that's why billionaires that are in the headlines regularly, like Peter Thiel, I'm sure you saw Mark Zuckerberg has built a bunker of his own in Kauai. Peter Thiel had built a bunker in New Zealand and had encouraged so many of his billionaire friends to build bunkers in New Zealand years ago. So think about the data that they have. If you're just hearing about this for the first time, these guys started building their bunkers years ago. Peter Thiel and his billionaire friends built so many bunkers in New Zealand. This is a true story. You can Google this, verify this yourself. The government of New Zealand had to make a law preventing billionaires to make any more bunkers in New Zealand. Now, what this billionaire that sent me this message and talked to me about this a few months ago told me was that they're not building these bunkers because they're afraid of war. They're not afraid of nuclear war and bombs. They're building them because they actually anticipate the societal collapse of people that lose their jobs and can't have money to pay their bills and take care of their families being so great that they're actually going to fly on their private jets to these bunkers before that starts happening and ride it out, because that could be a little turbulent. Now, they're billionaires. They have tens of thousands of people working for them, and they're informed with the best data on the planet, much more than you or I have. So here's the decision we can make. I do not want you or any peacemakers around the world to be in a state of fear. That's not how I operate. That's never how I've succeeded or allowed abundance into my life. It's not personally something that feels good to me to operate from. But at the same time, I don't just completely put the blinders on and ignore things that could be scary. I'm always aware of what the worst case possible situation is. I need to be aware of that and be okay with it for my own operating method. And then I move forward and do the best I can. And I actually try and focus on the most positive, best things happening in general, outwardly in the world and within my own life. So here's what we can do about it as a community. If you're following and watching this live stream or the recording, you're a peacemaker, you're a part of the Peace Through Trade global community on social media. We're so excited that you're here. This community on Instagram has become one of the most viral by views channel and community in the world this year in 2026. That is so cool to share with you. On Instagram, we have now more than 125 million views, and the community has grown to over 35,000 followers. So by views, how cool is it that we care enough about the environment, animals, nature, and our fellow human family members that we are engaging, sharing, commenting on the fact that AI and blockchain can actually be solutions focused on fixing these problems, rather than the bad news that AI is getting right now more and more with every day in its destructive harm on the environment, okay? And just saving the biggest companies on the planet lots of money. So what can we do about it? Well, if you click the link in our bio and you head on over to peacethroughtrade.com, you can sign up and become a peacemaker. You can put in your name, your email, and your cell phone. You can also, what you'll see is get first access to something that we've been incubating at multiple universities for the last 5 years. We built an entire ecosystem focused on the fix, focused on the solutions. And the goal is that we can create together throughout the world a new economy. We're inspired by it because the economy's mission is to be focused on solutions that help the planet, help nature, help animals, and help our fellow human family members. So that's pretty cool. We're not saying it's the ultimate solution. We're not saying that we've thought everything through absolutely perfectly, and we're not so egotistical to think that we've done everything absolutely right and we're the only solution. But we are sharing with you what we have been working on for 5 years. We're excited about it. We're grateful that it's working. We're grateful now that we can invite you into it. And we're grateful that one member at a time in the Peacemakers global community, we can help uplift each other. We can help focus on solutions, and we can do what we can between now and the next 2 years. Now, personally, from my vantage point and viewpoint, I get that the billionaires believe this. They're building bunkers for the past several years. So obviously they believe it. I personally would never want to sit in a hole and ride it out while others are suffering. I'd want to be out there in the streets and doing everything I can. So here's how we could prepare for that event and hopefully not have to participate in it. We can choose to opt out by being a part of a brand new Peacemaker global economy. I'm not saying this is going to work out. There's no financial guarantees to cover all your bills, but we can do what we can to help uplift ourselves and our global community. Check out peacethroughtrade.com, sign up, get access to the first apps that you can now officially start using, see your other global community peacemakers that are already in there, that are uploading their content, that are uploading their ideas, their projects, their goods, their services, and you can participate in the economy for good. Now, I'm not saying this is going to solve all of our problems, but how cool is it that we at least have a solution that we can work on together? And it's very fortunate that it came to a reality now with the timing we have to do something about it for the next 2 years. If you sign up at peacethroughtrade.com and you officially join our global community of fellow peacemakers, you'll also see the previous private updates that we've done for only insiders of the Peace Through Trade community. It's free to sign up. There's no cost. During those updates, I've shared with you official advisors that have formally come on board with Peace Through Trade that we're not yet sharing with the public. Very cool people. Some people are famous celebrities. Others are some of the most experienced financiers in the world of helping nature. So it's really cool. We've also, like I mentioned, been in government conversations for a number of years now, and a few of those have become formalized. And we've only shared how cool those projects are where we have formalized government things happening in the private updates for peacemakers. We ourselves are waiting as a blockchain Web3 AI project to bring our project public. We're waiting for the Clarity Act to pass, Bitcoin's price to turn around, at which point we'll decide on an official formal launch date, and we'll then begin to share all the good news for about 90 days before that official launch date leading up to it. So if you want to stay in the loop, do what you can to help the planet, nature, animals, and your fellow human family member, and you and your own potential, no guarantees of course, but your own potential prosperity that you could do for you while uplifting everyone and the planet around you. Check out peacethroughtrade.com. We're really excited about the solutions we've built. As I said earlier, no one's got a crystal ball and can perfectly predict exactly what's coming in the future, but it's at least positive that we have something that we've built that's working, that was done completely legally, that allows us now to interact and participate in a global economy instantly. Most importantly, something you can trust, something that's verified, and together we can do good. And I personally am pretty excited and inspired by the opportunity to make money while helping my planet and my fellow human family members. And there's no, obviously, guarantees. I can't say that enough. The attorneys and lawyers always want me to make sure that I mention that when I'm doing these live streams publicly. But whatever we could do together between now and then, who knows, maybe together we can skip right over any turbulence that might occur societally as a result of these AI job losses. In closing, because this is a short live for today, I do want to share with you the other thing that we were initially inspired about one of the main problems we wanted to solve when building peace through trade in the first place was financial access to the rest of our human family. We realize that a lot of the environmental destruction that you might care about that happens elsewhere in the world, it's not because people want to be doing that. They're not just going out of their way to try and destroy the environment. It's because oftentimes that destruction is tied to the only way that they have access to making money for themselves, their families, and their communities. So we realized if we could build something that allows for the trust and financial access, we could support, send, and receive money instantaneously anywhere throughout the world. Maybe we could help through that financial access figure out something where people could have goods or services, products, or do work in this global economy. And if we could help uplift the quality of their life enough through this ecosystem and the solution that we've built, maybe we could focus on solutions specifically for uplifting the sustainability and the environment in that area. But either way, how cool would it be if whatever economic interaction we're able to participate in through peace through trade with these people in other parts of the world that might have never had this level of financial access in their whole lives, maybe in that entire part of the world ever before, how cool would it be if those solutions, that upliftment, that economic activity that we can participate in together can be solutions that last forever or more permanent? The biggest problem we've had planet-wide is trust to date. We don't have a way in which to trust right now if we send monies to someone in a very remote part of Africa or Asia or Latin America or other parts of the world, that they're really going to get the money, and that once they get the money, are we actually going to get the thing we're paying for? Or if it's just supporting something, are they really actually going to do the good work that's needed? That's been the biggest problem. In fact, that is currently the problem. Just last year, with the world's largest aid organizations and the projects that work with the biggest governments receive the most funding to do the most aid in the world right now. In fact, I won't name names, but one of the world's largest aid organizations has lost more than $20 billion in annual funding because they simply can't show where the money that they get is going. They can't show the proof that the tens of billions of dollars they've been sending out is actually producing results. Now, you can answer the question as to why, but no more do we have to deal with that in peace through trade. We'll be able to create an economy. It's a verified real human being on the other end. You know, and instantaneously that they've received the funds, and we will work together to create, as a global community, a higher standard for proof and absolute results than we've ever been able to have before. And for me, that's really inspiring. Of course, I might want to donate funds to someone who's in need somewhere else, but I'm always thinking to myself, yeah, but what do they do after those funds run out? What's their long-term solution? You've heard the story from the Bible. Teach a man to fish and you'll feed him for life. Give a man a fish and you'll feed him for a day. Similarly, I'm so inspired by this global community. Even cooler if it's focused on the solutions that we and nature desperately need right now that create long-term economic sustainability and resilience for these people throughout the world for the long term. Not going to say forever, but the goal is it could be genuinely for the long term. So that's all the time we have today. Don't worry about the AI job loss dramatically affecting society. This isn't a clickbaity thing to sell you some digital information product based on fear and anxiety, but I did genuinely get that message from someone that has done billions of dollars in revenue a year, and he genuinely believes it's coming. And the billionaires that are building bunkers genuinely believe it's coming, or they wouldn't be spending tens of millions of dollars on bunkers. And it's not a war. It's not the government's not getting along. It's just big business laying off so many people society-wide in the next 2 years or less. They think it's going to lead to an absolute collapse economically. They think that governments don't have the money to protect you and your families and bail you out, and they're going to ride it out in a bunker while the rest of us figure it out. So at least today you can head on over to peacethroughtrade.com and work on a prospective solution together, one for good. Thanks for being here. If you watch this replay, leave your comments below as to what you think is really going on and the products or the services or the solutions that you're most inspired to create an economy around that help for good.